Let's discuss 40 positions puzzles which would occur if you play the k1 q2 opening setup. Let's go. It translates into French defense and the Queen's Gambit decline. You can also play it with the white pieces. Reverse colors, same idea, playing the French defense as white means e3 d4 or Queen's Gambit declined e3 d4, and with black e6 d5 against everything. So this is the k1 q2 setup. I remove the king pawn one step and the queen pawn two steps. So k1 q2 setup. This is the universal setup which can be played against anything, and it helps us to increase our rating. I increased my online rating from 1100 to 1800 mostly using this setup. So let's see 40 important positions which might occur from this setup. So we'll be seeing with the black pieces. This is the first puzzle out of 40. So here we have developed all the pieces and reached this position, exchange some pieces, and now we are attacking white's queen. So white just moves the queen, but now black is able to capture the bishop on d2 because of tactics. Rook takes d2, rook takes d2, and we win the rook using double attack. And we are winning. So what was the best move for white? How can white save this game? White needs to save the bishop on d2. So we need to think what white can do over here. So queen b3 is not working because you can take and give a check. Okay, so is white lost immediately in this position? White is trying to defend the rook to get out of the bind. What is the most forcing move? So white has to stop the queen e1 check. So let us think what we can do over here with white. I think white is completely losing over here. No, there's no way for white to save this. I think if you know, you can check it out. Let's move to the next second puzzle. Here we have the second puzzle, second position, which would again occur using our opening setup, k1 q2 setup. Let's see. Now here, let's count the material. We have 2 rooks, 1 bishop with the black pieces, and 4 pawns versus 6 pawns. So at the moment black is a piece up, and it is white's move, and white just captures this rook, and now white says it's equalized, and white says white has more pawns, 6 pawns versus 4, but now it is black's move. And what will be our answer? Let's see. We will be playing queen captures on f2, and this is a good forcing checkmating sequence. Back rank checkmate, rook d1. Let's move ahead to the third puzzle, and over here we can see that we are in the end game, 4 pawns versus 4 pawns, and now white has to stop that black pawn from promoting. So white plays rook a1, stopping the black pawn from queening. Now what can be done? Rook d1. Black can play rook d1, rook takes d1, and like this we have a queen. So one of the important strategies in chess is to have a passed pawn. So this was highlighted over here. Puzzle number 4 now out of 40. So we need to be faster now. 4 pawns for black, 6 pawns for white, 2 rooks, 2 minor pieces. So we have 2 rooks for white's 1 queen and 2 minor pieces for white's 1 rook. So it is equal. Now white is in check, so white moves the king. And now let's see what can be done. Of course, here we have a forcing checkmating sequence with knight to g3 check, s takes g3, rook h5 checkmate. Let's move ahead to tactic or puzzle number 5, position number 5 from our k1q2 opening setup. k1q2 opening setup. Okay, let's see what is happening over here now. It is white's move, and white says that that pawn on g2 is attacked. We don't have the queen, you can see in this position, but we have one rook and one bishop against this queen, and against one rook we have one bishop, so it is kind of balanced, means we are not losing with black. So now here rook moves to g1, and now how can black continue this game? Black plays bishop captures on g2, rook captures on g2, and because of the wonderful bishops we are able to deliver checkmate again over here. Very nice. Tactic number 6 now. Position number 6. Over here we have an end game, 4 pawns versus 4 pawns. Both of the players have fought hard and reached over here, and now it is white's move. White moves the pawn to d7, and now this is a mistake for some reason. Let's see what is the reason. Because we can give this check, and after takes, the king is forced to come on the h4 square, and now we have rook h2 checkmate. So this is the problem. So instead white should have just played pawn to g4 themselves and stopped that idea. So it is important to see what the opponent's idea was. White didn't see that black's idea was g4 check, and so white played this d7 move, and white lost over there, as we saw like this. So it's important to see what the opponent's idea is, and you can stop the opponent's idea with the white pieces using g4, and everything is balanced and nothing is happening. Next, tactic or position number 7 now. Position number 7 we have reached, and this is looking from the opening itself. 6 pawns versus 6 pawns, 2 rooks and 3 minor pieces for black, and 2 rooks and 2 minor pieces for white. But it's white's move now, and white just captures this. I think there was an exchange over there, and white just regains the piece. And now, but this is not working. This is from the French defense, I think, because now we have tactics. Bishop captures. French defense or queen's gambit declined, but same k1 q2 setup. Check, and we have a discovered attack. Successful, we win the queen. Tactic of position number 8. Now here we can see this position where we have 4 plus 3, 7 pawns for it black, and 6 pawns for white, 2 rooks, 3 minor pieces each. Okay, let's see what happens now. White plays rook e1. White makes a quick move falling into a normal tactic. Okay, so here we are just demonstrating this smothered mate with knight h3. So this is also possible. Smothered mate, if you want to make it possible, you can place your queen and knight in this kind of formation, and then it is possible. Even when the rook was on f1, knight f2 was threatened. And if queen e2, if white plays queen e2 to stop that, then that was the answer for our opponent. But then we can play bishop c5 maybe, and again try to make the theme possible. So rook e1, knight f2, king g1, and this is the smothered mate formation. If king h1, then we can sacrifice stupidity and we can give away the queen, and here we have a checkmate. Next, tactic number 9, position number 9 from our setup. Let's see. Okay, now what is happening? We have an end game over here, and in this end game it's equal. Now white plays king to h3. Now here white has to decide what to do because king is in check, so the safest move was king to g1, but white plays king to h3, and now we have queen e6 check, and we have this exchange where white king is far away from stopping black's b5 pawn from promoting. So king g4 and b4, and now this pawn can't be stopped. So such tactics can happen. Next, position number 10. Position number 10, we can see black has 4 pawns and white has 4 pawns, 1 rook, 2 minor pieces each, and 1 queen. And black has kept their king safe. Black has placed the queen very actively, and the rook is nicely aiming towards the opponent's queen. Now it is white's move, and white says, let me move my queen away from this rook's vision. Discover attacks if possible. So queen just moves and captures on h6 and is threatening checkmate. Now it is our turn with the black pieces to do something. So let's see what can be done. Queen captures on g2 check. King captures on g2. G captures on h6, and here we end up being piece up. We get the rook. So this is how the positions can be faced in our k1 q2 setup. Now let's go forward to the puzzle number 11 out of 40, and here 4 plus 3 7 pawns for black and white, 2 rooks 4 minor pieces and 2 rook 4 minor pieces. This looks like the French exchange variation. And here we are supposed to castle short most of the times in French exchange, so it is safer, they say. But okay, now white plays pawn to c4. The pawn has stepped 1 square, and now what should we do with the black pieces? White wants to play c5 and try to attack our bishop, trap our bishop. That is a threat. Now black plays knight captures on d4. Okay, and stops pawn from coming to c5. And this is what can happen. So white had the idea to trap a bishop, but we get the pawn for free. And now queen actually moves to h3. What happens is that we're threatening to attack the h2 pawn. We have given away the knight on d4. Let's see what happens if this is played, and we can just capture, check, and it will be assumed something stronger. Maybe at least we have a draw with bishop h2. But is there a checkmate? Usually queen f2 should have been checkmate, so I need to think. But the opponent, after the opponent captured, black actually played queen h3. And if this is captured, now you think and see if there is anything possible. But okay, it's equal position, we get the attack, we are not pieced down. So yeah, this is great for black. Next position, tactic number 12. Position number 12. In the position number 12, we can see that we have again a position from the French exchange variation. Everything is equal, and now white just captures this h5 pawn. It is dangerous to do this Of course, now what can be done? Bishop captures on h2, check. If king h1, then queen h4 will be played and there will be an attack. So the opponent just captures, and still queen h4 check, king g1 and rook takes h5, and we are piece up. No, we're not piece up, but we have an attack. We have a nice attack over there. It's equal, but we have an attack. Position number 13 now. Position number 13, 6 pawns for black, 2 rooks, 4 minor pieces, everything is there on the chessboard. Same for the white pieces. Now here white plays queen to b3. Now queen is trying to attack the b7 pawn, but now, and white is not scared. White is saying, I'm not scared that if you ruin my pawn structure with bishop captures on f3, but black does that anyways. And it is a good position for black because we're also getting the d4 pawn because the queen moved away. And the player with the black pieces can go ahead to win from here. f3 pawn is also attacked. So okay, we win a pawn in this variation. 14th puzzle out of 40 right here on your screen. 4 plus 3 7. Okay, black's pieces are developed in this way, and now white plays bishop e2 trying to complete and secure the complete development. And here this is a bad move. Why? Because white didn't see what the opponent can do. White has the weak pawn on b2 and white should have taken care of that pawn, but queen b4 check comes and we win the b2 pawn. And now queen takes c2, we win another pawn, and we are better with 7 pawns against 5. So this is what happens when we don't see what the opponent can do before we make a move. 15th puzzle now out of 40. Now black's bishop is attacking the white's king, so white just moves bishop to d2. This is from the French defense advanced variation. And now here after bishop d2 we can see that black is comfortable in this advanced variation. And now black plays bishop captures on a3 and black is winning because that bishop can't be taken, otherwise we win the rook, which is undefended and black is better. These are tactics which can happen. Position number 16, 1-6. Again a position from the advanced variation. And now here what can be done? White actually plays b4 and now it is our move. The knight is attacked. Knight moves to b3 and we have a fork. So opponent didn't see that knight b3 is coming. So these kind of tactics are possible for you in the advanced variation, knight b3. Okay, and now knight takes a1, queen takes, then you can just play rook g8. Rook g8 is the move which you can play with because knight is on e7 and black is nicely better over here. 17, position number 17. When we take a look at this position number 17, we understand that maybe this is from the Queen's Gambit declined. And actually, but we don't know. It's Queen's Gambit declined or French. Let's see. But 4 plus 4, 8. But okay, how many pawns are there? 7 pawns actually, not 8. For both the sides, and all pieces are there on the chessboard. White plays knight takes c4. Looks like a normal move, but now black has something great over here, that is bishop captures on h2 check. Because of the weak knight on e4, we are able to use tactics and land the queen on h4 in either cases wherever the king moves and get the piece back. We are a pawn up. So these kind of tactics can happen, where you have the bishops aiming towards the opponent's king. Tactic position number 18 now. In the position number 18, we can see this is the case, and this looks the position from the opening, from the k1q2 opening setup. Okay, white plays knight captures on h7, but now comes queen h4. White continues with some move, and now rook takes h7. Bishop captures on h7, queen captures on h7. Black got the two minor pieces for one rook, and now black is fine. Black has more piece, one extra piece, right? Next, 19. So you should not be scared of doing that, what we saw, giving away or capturing the opponent's two pieces by giving the rook. Next, white plays rook captures on e7 and trying to deflect our queen from supporting the d5 bishop. But now comes the move, rook f1 check, king takes f1, only move, and now discover attack on the queen, and we win the queen. Position number 20. Four, 5, 6, and 4 plus 3, 7, 2 rooks, 3 minor pieces for black. So white says, let me do something, f4. Okay, so black is already piece up, as we can see in this position. And now black, instead of moving the bishop, plays knight takes c5, playing, always finding moves which are tempo gaining moves, attacking moves, alternatives to normal replies. Normal reply was to move the bishop, but black found this one, knight takes c5, which is all of course playable. Queen moves, and now after this we are piece up, and we are also attacking the king now. If queen f2, then knight f3 check is also possible. This is what can happen next. Now this is position number 21. Black has 7 pawns, white has 6. White plays knight f3, but now already we can win the bishop on b5 with this double attack. Next, possible tactic from our k1q2 setup, 20-second puzzle. Let's see what happens. White captures this bishop, and now white says I am piece up. But in this position from the French defense, black can do something with this kind of moves, attacking moves. Always finding attacking moves is great. And now what to do? Queen takes c5 check, bishop e3, and now knight to f5, attacking the b2 pawn, also threatening pawn to d4. And as you can see, Yeah, okay. So black wasn't face down at all. Next, position number 23. Here, take a look at this position. The bishop on b7 is attack, it moves. Now we need to increase the pressure with the black pieces with queen a5 attacking that bishop yet again. And that's it. So always trying to attack what you can attack is a great option which you always have. So try to find such moves. Position number 24. Over here, it's all equal, and now white says I can pin this knight on e5, but now comes knight takes f3 check, queen takes f3, and now the bishop on f4 is defended, but now e5 fork or double attack has been successful and we are winning with the black pieces. Position number 25. Now here queen h5, h4 check might be an option. So white just played knight g3, but still queen h4 comes, queen f3, and now knight d4 attacking c2 pawn. And now what happens over here if the queen moves to d1? Now we win the pawn on f4. If the queen moves anywhere else, we win the pawn on f4. This is what is happening over here. Position number 26. In the position number 26, we see the queen moves to f2. And now everything is equal, and black's move you have to find. And it is bishop takes d2, queen takes d2 is met with queen h4 check, king d1, and queen takes c4, we get that pawn. And if king takes, then we have queen a5 check, we have a strong attack, and we will fix the problem of our French bishop, that is a c8 bishop, or the next move with bishop d7 or b6. Bishop d7 is very safe. This is what can happen, the king can't castle now. Next, 27th position for you on your screen. In the position number 27, we see from the k1q2 setup, white has maybe played d4, and now black has nicely got all the pieces and exchanged the queens. And now let's see what happens. Knight moves to f2 because that knight was attacked by the bishop, threatening to ruin the pawn structure. Knight moves to f2. But now comes some good moves for black. With knight takes f3, g takes f3, and bishop takes f3. Rook g1, bishop d1, and here black got some pawns, 2 extra pawns, and got the rook for 2 pieces. So you can do some kind of exchanges like this in order to get some advantage, and here it was possible because we also got 2 extra pawns. Tactic number 28. 6 pawns versus 6 pawns, 2 rooks, 2 mana pieces, everything is equal. White plays rook to c1, rook fc1. And now here we have a beautiful tactic which black can perform. Let's see what it is. It is queen h1 check, king takes h1, and knight f2, we win the opponent's queen back. Yeah, so this is what can happen. with initiative, and black is continuing this game nicely. If rook d1, the knight can move to b4 and it is not trapped, so you also have to be careful if your knight is getting trapped or not while doing such tactics. Position number 29 now. In the position number 29, we can see white plays rook h1 in this middle game position, and now we have bishop f3 check, king h2, we have this double check, king moves, and we have queen g4, king h2, and queen g2 mate. All these things are possible when you bring your pieces near your opponent and you activate all your pieces. Position number 30 on your screen, you can see over here white captures this pawn, and now black needs to do something. Black plays knight captures on f2, attacking the queen, so king captures on f2, and now knight g4 check, king g1, and knight into h6. We regain our piece back, and this is how undefended pieces can be exploited. Bishop on h6 was undefended, so tactics happen. Next 30 positions are already solved. Congratulations, and now only 10 are left. So let's move to the 31st puzzle out of 40. Okay, all of the pawns are there on the chessboard, and it looks like a college system or something like that. Red T. Let's see what happens. a6 d5. I played the k1q2 setup, moving the king's pawn one step and the queen's pawn two squares. That is the French defense. e6 d5, e6 d5 setup with black. And now here white captures on c5. But now we activate our bishop using d4, attacking the queen. Queen does this, and now two rooks, two minor pieces. But okay, we captures over here. And now due to these tactics, black is actually better. Let's go to the position number 32. Over here we will see white plays knight f3 and now queen b4 check, and we win the pawn on b2. f4 was also possible, but yeah, we get this. Position number 33 now on your screen. Okay, in this puzzle the king has to move, and now black's move. Black plays bishop captures on c3, b captures on c3, queen captures on c3, king e2, rook d2, and we will get the rook on a1. Position number 34 out of 40. White made this mistake, but e4 wins the game for black now. Bishop e2, and we get that piece. And this is possible in the Queen's Gambit declined, moving the e6 pawn to e5 at some point. Next, position number 35. Let's see this position. Now white plays f4, black's move. Black plays queen to b4, attacking the b2 and the d4 pawn. King moves, and we get the b2 pawn, and we are not going to capture on d4 actually here, because this would lose our queen. So instead we capture the b2 pawn. Next position 36. Position number 36. White plays this move, and now queen takes b2. There was pressure on the center, but okay. And you lose. Your opponent can give away that b2 pawn in many cases. If knight moves, then we already can capture the c3 pawn. So next position, number 37. In this position, white plays this and now allows knight c3, trapping the opponent's queen. So this is what can happen when the b3 pawn and the c3 square is weakened. Position number 38. Position number 38 out of 40. Okay. White saves the queen like this. But now comes queen g5 check. King f2. And queen h4, we get the bishop on e4 back. Position number 39 on your screen right now. White plays this move and now knight takes f2, king takes f2, and knight g4 check is coming, and we are able to capture on e3, and you check out what happens next. Last position for you from the k1q2 setup. King moves to g1. So that same continuation we are seeing. Take over here. If king f1, then queen f2 mate. If king h1, then we have a smaller checkmate, maybe like this. Yeah. So this is how smaller checkmates can happen. Check out the 39 and 40th position again to get the understanding of how to set up smaller checkmates. Okay, these were the 40 puzzles from the k1 q2 setup. So let me just show it to you on the chessboard. What is the k1 q2 setup? Against anything the opponent plays, you can use the setup k1, means you move the king's pawn one step and the queen's pawn two steps. That is the basic setup against everything. Against e4 it becomes the French defense. Against d4 it becomes the queen's gambit declined. King's pawn one step, queen's pawn two squares, k1 q2 setup. It can also be played with the white pieces. That's what I was telling you. e3, d4. This is the setup. Thank you very much, and let us stop today's video.